What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. It's time for another episode of the Forgotten Race Review as we close in on the remaining few races of Pathfinder 1st Edition. Today, one of the most famous, one of the most iconic, at least from the point of view of, a bug, squish it, ever since the days of 3.5, and probably a little earlier. I guess we're about to find out, aren't we? Anyway, today, it's all about the Drider. If you're liking what you're seeing, remember to like, subscribe, and ding that bell. Next week, the Lost Omens character guide will be officially out, and will be, I guess I'm calling it Ancestry Archive. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, we'll hit those guys then. Between here and there, though, this episode of the Forgotten Race Review is brought to you in part by Mr. Sim Bartlett, who can probably hear me recording this right now, but thanks for your help, man. Let's get it. Okay, so just in case maybe somehow you hadn't heard about this, in the Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game, a Drider is an aberration that was formerly a drow, centaur-like creatures appearing as drow from the waist up, with their lower portions replaced by the abdomen and legs of immense spiders. For the very first time, they appeared in Queen of the Demon Web Pits, written by Gary Gygax and David C. Sutherland, and they've been with us ever since, forever and ever. Just as long as the drow have, just as long as the Underdark has. As most of us are probably more aware of than in Pathfinder, in D&D, the Drider is created from the base drow in an agonizing process, which required a lesser demon known as a Yochlol and a little bit of Lolth's power, literally as a get-good message. When a drow undergoes the test of Lolth administered literally by the goddess, who I'm kind of surprised we haven't done Pathfinder stats for, to be honest with you. Those who failed the test but survived were turned into these abominations. And of course, when this would happen, the Drider would have to leave their home in shame, as they have literally just become outcasts in drow society. But in Pathfinder, since we have no Lolth, and so our Driders look a little different. Originally, Pathfinder's Driders were a result of drow flesh warping, an alchemical process that took one thing and another thing and put them together, and out came a flesh warp. And there are several different flesh warps out there, other than just drow plus spider equals Drider. Present day, the Drider breed true. Females retain their sleek, beautiful elven shapes above the waist, with similarly sleek and smooth spider bodies, whereas the males get horrific faces, a blend of drow and spider with bodies more akin to, say, a tarantula. They're still seen as freaks and mutants, and becoming a Drider is still punishment, yet the Drider are not frail or helpless at all. As a result, in drow society, Driders are often kept as guardians, soldiers, bodyguards, things like that. Retaining little of their previous life's memories, most Driders serve their drow lords and ladies without question. There of course exist a number of small Drider tribes throughout the Darklands, comprised of Driders who have freed themselves from drow rule, females thinking they still deserve a little bit of that power, and as a result, most Driders seen in drow cities are male. Now, to be honest, flesh warping might mean you live for a couple more years, it might mean you live forever, so I'm gonna just dodge the base stats this time around. To be honest, you can probably use the drows, just they're large and now they have spider bodies, but mechanically. After the adjustments for being a large aberration, as they are, in total, a Drider receives a +4 to its strength, flat 0 to dexterity, a +2 -2 basically, a +4 to constitution, and a +2 to wisdom. They have a climb speed of 20 feet and a base speed of, I believe, 40 feet. Though, of course, the Drider, as it appears in the bestiary, has a speed of 30 feet. There's nothing here that seems to be slowing down the Drider, and it has the normal speed trait and the quadruped trait, which should set him at a base speed of 40 feet. Driders have spell resistance equal to 11 plus their character level. They have a +2 to natural armor, dark vision out to 60 feet, and there it is. Boom. That's all they are. All they are is a lot. The ability to have a climb speed in and of itself is really powerful. Climb up to the ceiling and stab down with a reach weapon, or shoot down. Honestly, you've probably guaranteed yourself a one-way ticket to not being in the fight, or at least not being super threatened. And to be honest, narratively speaking, playing a Drider in a drow-based game, fun fact, something I'll be doing here in the near-ish future, probably puts enough of a stigma on you to justify these enormous ability score buffs. Everybody hates you. That of course presents its own RP challenges, and that probably offsets it enough in a game where it's going to be as brutal as it would be with the drow. I will very soon be playing, essentially, a Drider worshipping Lolth who's gonna get put through the ringer real hard. Actually, as I'm talking about this now, I think this is a character for whom I personally would probably fill out that RPG consent checklist for, because that game's gonna be rough, but in return, the ability to climb on the ceiling, the ability to, again, shoot down, stab down, hide different places, seems really good. GMing for these guys, of course, means probably GMing for the drow. That RPG consent list is important. Session zeros, y'all have heard me say it a million times. On top of that, though, mechanically, this is really, really good. But if somebody really wants to play this, you can challenge them by putting other things on the ceiling. Things only they can deal with. Partially because they're really powerful, partially because they have the ability to climb. Sometimes, like in adventure paths, yeah, no, maybe don't play a Drider, but in homebrew games, I'm a little more along the lines of, yeah, you should be able to play that, I think. Balance is key. Maybe don't target the Drider with the same things you're targeting, like the base drow. In any case, what do y'all think? Have we played a Drider? How many Drider have we killed? In Pathfinder, in D&D, in games at large? Throw it in the comments. Next week, we will begin episode 1 of 2nd edition's Ancestry Archive. Ancestry Anthology? Yeah, it's gotta be Ancestry Anthology. I said archive because I'm looking at AON right now. Anyway, is it the Uruxi, the Leshy, or the Hobgoblin? Let me know, guys.